Hello SICW wrestling fans, and welcome to this week's SICW All-Star Wrestling. I'm here with promoter Herb Simmons, and Herb, we had a great show last night, and we are just weeks away from FanFest 2.
Well, we sure are, Brian, and I want to just take a moment and welcome everybody. And it's been a while since you and I got together on a Sunday night program.
We're always together in spirit here, but yes, sitting behind the table together definitely been a little bit, but that's only because we have some great TV shows that we typically record every Sunday for airing here on Sunday night.
Right, but you're right. Great show last night at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. A great crowd and great action as always. But you're right, just a couple of weeks away from the granddaddy of them all, as everybody is talking about. And we're talking about SICW FanFest 2, which has been the buzz all over social media.
Well, Herb, let's talk a little bit about what that weekend is going to look like. It actually kicks off on Friday night this year. FanFest was so good in 2023, you decided this year it needs to become 2 days. So let's talk about Friday night, 7 p.m. A gentleman, Bill Apter. I mean, should I know him?
Yeah, Bill Apter is a well-known name in the professional wrestling business. If you go back in times before the internet and before cell phones and before the fancy cameras, Bill Apter traveled all over the world following the wrestling, all over the country, and he is really contributed to a lot of the wrestling legends' careers, because he was the one that was taking the pictures of those great matches, putting them in the magazines, and writing the articles on these guys before the internet and all that was even available.
So you mean back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we didn't have Facebook to tell us what happened on Monday Night Raw?
No, you had Bill Apter. You used to run down.
You have Bill Apter now for the FanFest.
Well, yeah, and a real quick story. Last year, I actually asked Mr. Apter to join us for SICW FanFest 1. And originally he had said, yeah, oh man, I'd love to be in St. Louis. St. Louis was always a good town under Sam Muchnick and Larry Matusek and, the likes of Lou Thez, and all the greats were there. And man, I'd love to come back. And so we kind of said, okay, fine, we'll set it up. Well, then a day or two later, he calls me and says, hey, Herb, I made a mistake. That's Mother's Day weekend. And I said, well, yeah, I know. We kind of realized that too, but it's already booked. And, we got people coming in. And he says, plus it's my anniversary.
Oh.
And
happy life.
You talk about double trouble. So I understood his wife comes first, family comes first, and but then this year when I announced the dates, we talked, and he said, "Hey, I'm in." He says, "Why don't I come in and do my one-man show?" And people may say, "Well, what's the one-man show? Is it going to be just a bunch of people sitting around talking?" Well, that's some of it, but boy, you're going to see Bill Apter in action. You're going to have some trivia questions. There will be a video up, and he'll be playing all kinds of videos, and he loves to sing karaoke. He loves to do impressions of Dusty Rhodes and people like that. So it's going to be great.
Well, and Herb, he sent us a little video that kind of talks about what his one-man show is going to be and how he's looking forward to coming to St. Louis. So let's take a minute and take a look at that right now.
Can you see me? Can you see me? It doesn't matter if they can see you. Get out of here. Wait a minute. Can you see me now? You can't. You can't see me. Now you can see me. Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. This is Bill Apter down here in Apter's Alley. 2015 inductee into the St. Louis Hall of Fame. Thank you to everyone who inducted me, Herb Simmons and the rest of the crew. SICW, sensational, incredible Championship Wrestling, also stands for Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. And all roads on May 17th, 2024, and May 18th, 2024, are headed to the big city of the Big Dome. And this is FanFest number 2. I couldn't be at number 1, but I'm going to be there for sure. And on the 17th, on that night, I'm doing my one-man show. Now, what's the one-man show all about? Is it going to be these like heavy Q&As talking about the business and that? No, this is like a variety show. There'll be trivia, there'll be music, there'll be contests. You've never had so much fun in your entire pro wrestling life, I can assure you. of that. Then on Saturday, all day long will be this incredible FanFest. You'll be meeting some of the legends of the pro wrestling world, dozens and dozens of legends of the pro wrestling world. Saturday night, there'll be an incredible wrestling show. So it's a weekend that you must be at, especially for my show on the night of the 17th. It's Friday night. So come on, out and party. SICW.org for full information. I can't wait to see your face in the place. And this is Bill Apter, St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Famer, if you will. I'll see you in St. Louis, and you too, Barbara and Pam and Darla and Herb and Mike and Ed and Frankie and Alan and
Herb, there you have it. It looks like Friday night is in for a treat, and there's only less than 30 tickets left to the Bill Apter one-man show.
Yeah, they've been going like hotcakes, and he's going to have some of the other legends that's going to take part in the show. Teddy Long has already said he's going to be there. Medusa says she's going to be a part of that show. So there's going to be some of the other legends there that Friday night, because they'll be coming in town all day Friday, and so I'm sure they'll be sticking their head in. And but the thing is, the hotel has got it set up to where there's a $25 fee for that ticket. You have to have a ticket to get in to see Bill Apter, and regardless of who you are. And so you're right. We're gonna be right at that number where it's gonna be sold out here real quickly, I think.
Definitely going to be a great event there for the Bill Apter one-man show. You need to go to SICW.org right now and get one of those remaining tickets, because they will be gone. Don't wait until the night of the show on May 17th. The tickets will not remain. Go to SICW.org, order that ticket today to make sure you are part of that spectacular event.
Well, and that's the thing, and one of the reasons also to get your tickets in advance is, it speeds the process up the day of the event, because your packet will be ready. You can come in, show your identification, your packet will be there with your armband, and especially Friday night, you'll be able to get your ticket. If you buy the bundle packet for the entire weekend, you don't have to wait on Saturday, right?
Bill Apter is not included in the bundle pass.
Okay, so that's a
The
separate.
bundle pass is only
my
for
mistake.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Bill Apter is a separate ticket by itself that you have to make sure you have it. But now, if you buy a Bill Apter ticket and your bundle pass, yes, you're going to have all that Friday night and ready to go, so that Saturday, once the doors open, you walk right in.
Right, and once we're set up, it's scheduled to open at 10 a.m., so we try to open up right there. But if we've got a crowd waiting outside, and as long as the legends and special guests are all inside and they're set up and ready to go, we're not going to have you standing outside. We'll get you inside, and we'll let the festivities begin, because we want you in there seeing these legends and talking to them, because we got a list of who's going to be there.
Well, Herb, so without further ado, let's head to Saturday, May 18th. Doors are going to open at 10 o'clock. What should the fan expect?
Well, I think what I hope they expect is what the ones who were there last year experienced was everything. Just everything went smooth. We asked people to be patient because it did get crowded last year. But I think, Brian, you was at the front door. And everything ran pretty smooth.
That's because I was at the front door.
Because you were at the front door, and so guess where you're going to be at on May 18th?
Well, and fans, that's a treat for you, because the first legend you get to see is myself.
You get to see Brian. Brian will be there with a smiling face, and
I might be able to get a penny for an autograph.
There you go. Yeah, they may say, "Hey, aren't you the guy on Sunday night sometimes doing the show every Sunday on YouTube and Facebook and
I
Intrigue?"
try and stand on the other side of the camera, but occasionally you drag me over here to the dark side.
Yeah, you got to drag you over. But what I hope that everybody comes, they have a great time, they get to see some of their legends that they grew up watching. We got a great list of vendors again this year that will be set up in the main hall. They'll have some of their goods that they will be selling. We've got a couple of podcast organizations going to be there, so you may get asked to join in on a podcast and tell people some of your wrestling stories and who your favorite wrestler was growing up, and so you'll go into the ballroom where everything will be set up. And the list of legends and special guests will be in there. You'll be able to get with them, and if you want to get an autograph or if you want to take a picture, they set their own price of their goods that they sell. But last year, I mean, we're still hearing about people saying now that last year was such a great experience that that's why they're coming back. And when I say people are coming from all over, we've already had people book rooms from Canada, from California, from Tennessee, from Iowa. So people are coming from around the country.
Around the globe.
Around the globe, really, yeah.
And they're coming to check it out. And Herb, we have some great vendors. You know, before you even get into the room with the legends, you're going to have some great vendors out there showing things like the Nebraska Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, that's a new addition this year, and I'm really excited about that. I want to see that brain claw, what do they call it? I guess replica.
A fake. No, I don't call it a figurine.
No,
it's more like a monument.
Statue. Yeah. So
maybe we can hold it up and see if your head fits.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm excited about that. Nebraska Hall of Fame. We'll have the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame set up inside like we did.
Such a beautiful,
beautiful
tradition there.
Last year, but we've got, like I said, a couple of podcast organization groups going to be there. People will be there. Ed Wheatley's going to be there with his Wrestling at the Chase book. He was there last year, and people grabbed the books up so quick he ran out within about an hour. So he's going to bring some extra this time with him. But it's just like you said, and that's all in the main hallway. Mm-hmm. And then once you go in between those doors, man, that's where you're going to see the legends just lined up around the room. The SICW ring will already be set up in there because that's just the beginning of the day.
Well, and before we walk through those doors and tell them all about what's inside, let's take a moment to hear from some of our sponsors and some of those vendors that are going to be set up on the outside. Take a look. Wrestling fans, one of SICW's newest sponsors for FanFest 2 is KC Insurance. For all your insurance needs, look to KC Insurance. The vendors are lining up for FanFest 2 on Saturday, May 18th. We're happy to welcome the Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame as one of our newest sponsors.
I just want to say that was super rude of you to walk away from me early.
Talking to the New York State champion, you're going to have to pay up. Do you take Kale? Dude, goodbye.
Whipwreck, Cation, doesn't matter.
We'll see what happens, but it looks like we have a special guest.
Get my earplugs on.
No.
You was looking for Tina, and then you talk about Pete
Dominate tonight, all right? The Dirty Deeds, they got nothing. We're now the new Starlet champion. What's going on?
Hi, I am with Princess, so why not team up?
All right, now just announced by Mr. Joel Maximo for February.
Pretty sure it's called the Shadow Band, and I was like, that's kind of...
Hold on. Let me speak. Okay?
But today I got a very special guest. I got the great.
Well, Herb, you heard from some of our great sponsors. We saw some demo videos of some that do their podcasts. It's just going to be a great night. But now it's 10 a.m. We're going to walk through those doors. Who are we going to find behind those doors?
Well, if everything in a perfect world runs smooth, you're going to see our good friend, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, because he's going to be one of the ones that's hosting it inside that ballroom. He said, Herb, give me the microphone and let me tell people all day long what's going on.
You better get some extra batteries.
Oh my gosh, if you have never ever seen Jimmy Hart in action, just give him the microphone and baby, that's what he says, right? Baby, come on now, we're gonna get going. So him, Medusa is going to be helping him kind of co-host the whole day event. Looking really forward to seeing Medusa. She's out in Vegas with us every year when we're out there for the Cauliflower Alley Club, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later here. But so she'll be there, but the room is going to just be filled with the legends. And like I said, if you start at the top, you got to start with Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, Medusa. You're going to see the Sergeant Slaughter there.
The man is there to keep law and order. He's going to make sure that you don't get out of line.
Exactly, or he'll call you a maggot, you know. And Greg Gagne, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, Haku.
Toughest man in wrestling.
Yeah, so the list is all. We'll throw up the screen, the poster here, and you can see for yourself. You're probably tired of seeing it on social media because every day somebody is sharing it, somebody is posting it. It's been updated, what you think, a half a dozen times because it started off Dr. D. David Schultz was one of the first ones that we added on there. Then B. Brian Blair, one half of the Killer Bees, him and Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. And the list goes on and on. Debbie Combs. Just the list of who's who. When I talk to people, I've been doing a lot of podcasts the last couple of months, and it's been, like I said, it's a buzz all around the globe.
Absolutely. And heard just recently, you got to catch up with an old friend of yours that got to tell you how wild this party is going to get, and he seemed pretty serious.
Oh, he's real serious. He's looking forward to coming back to St. Louis. And when somebody says, let's get fired up, man, I'm telling you, there's nobody more can get fired up than the wild guy, Tommy Rich.
Tommy Rich. So fans, Herb had a chance to catch up with the Wildfire Tommy Rich earlier this week. Let's take a listen to what them two had to talk about and what they're looking forward to at FanFest #2.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to this week's episode of SICW Promoters Corner. I'm Herb Simmons, the promoter. I come to you each and every Sunday night at 8 p.m., and I'm telling you, I am fired up tonight because, as you know, every Sunday I bring you some of the past, the present, and the future, and I'm telling you right now, when I talk about fired up, this guy is coming to St. Louis, and St. Louis is going to be fired up. I'm talking about none other than my friend Tommy Rich. Tommy, thanks for joining me on the Promoters Corner.
Hey, thank you for having me. Somebody said we're going to get fired up and May 17th and 18th that way.
Oh, yeah, St. Louis is not going to be the same. It's been a while since you've been to St. Louis. And, FanFest 2 is coming with all your great friends. Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, Doug Gilbert, Greg Gagne, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, Haku, Medusa. That list just goes on and on. We're up to about 60 plus of the legends and special guests. You can't have a crowd that big and have a party that big without having the Wild Child, man. I'm telling you.
Well, I want to thank you, Herb, and just I've wrestled for you before, and you're always a gentleman and always a good show. And I just want everybody to know, it's a little reunion for us, all the guys, because we don't get to see each other much anymore, but it's really great. It's just the fan turnout that we have to see all of us. Because most of us ain't been on TV in 20, 30 years, and for that still have the following and folks like you putting it out there and pushing it, it's just an honor, and without the wrestling fans, there would none of us be here. So big shout out to all the wrestling fans in the St. Louis area. Hey, and if you're hearing this, I don't care where you live, come to St. Louis, because 17th and 18th of May, that's where the shindig going to be happening.
Oh, it's going to be taking place. And as I've talked to you before, the annual Bruiser Brody Memorial, and we tied this FanFest around that last May, and now this May. And Bruiser Brody, a name from the past that will live on forever. And I know you knew Bruiser Brody, and it's an honor to have you take part of this memorial.
Yeah, and I've met his wife, and what a beautiful and wonderful lady she is. Anything to support Bruiser, he was, everybody looked at him as a wild man, but I got to meet him and see the personal side of him. He was a family man that helped his kids build tree houses. Just a wonderful man. I know there's a lot of people scared of him, didn't like him. Hey, but there's a lot of people that did. So, Bruiser Brody, one of the all-time greats, took him and Stan Hansen took Japan by storm. The credentials he has in the wrestling business. We've lost so many of them at a young age. It's just so sad. And for you to honor him and the family, it's an honor for me to be there.
Well, and it's a special to get everybody together because you're right. We've lost so many of the all-time greats, so it's good to be able to get everybody together in one place and tell those road stories. And speaking of great times, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., I know is a good friend of yours. He's being inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame on May the 18th, and his entire family is going to be there to take part in that induction, and I'm really happy about that. So hopefully the fans will come out and see the entire Bob Orton family, because he runs the Ace Wrestling Academy for me, and you've been there before and helped look at some of the talent that's come through there, and we had a great time then. But I know you and Bob Orton has got some road stories to talk about.
Oh yeah, Lord, yeah. Me and Bob go way back. Shoot, back up to Knoxville days, Smoky Mountain, just all up. Of course, I run across Bob. He wrestled in Tennessee when I was there. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing him. And just most of all, just looking forward to a great group weekend, meeting with the fans, and just having a good old time.
Oh yeah, Jerry Briscoe's going to be there. JBL. I mean, it's just going to be an all-star card, and like I said,
you got the
told everybody is each of them.
You got the who's of old school professional wrestling there, don't you?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you. But and every one of it called, or they've called me, and I'd say, well, I got the wildfire coming, and they'd say, oh, you got to be kidding me, man! Put us down for sure, because they know when you're there, the party's gonna start, So kind of like when we're up in Waterloo, Iowa, So
Waterloo, yes, sir. I had a great time there too.
Oh yeah, we're getting people coming from all over. They're coming from Canada, from California, from Tennessee. So it's going to be a great reunion, a great memorial for Bruiser Brody and Larry Matisek and my late friend Tony Costa. But to have you guys there, and we'll have a special award given out that night for the Achievement Award. So I mean, it's an all-star card, but it's a program, and we can't forget about Saturday night, our good friend Bill Apter doing his one-man show for the VIP party that I'm putting together, and I know you'll be there. Friday night, May 17th. Yeah, Friday night, May 17th, and the Bill Apter's one-man show, and I know you're friends with Bill Apter.
Oh Lord, Bill Apter put me on the map too. I probably had more more covers of magazines than most any of the guys. I mean, he always had me on them. I mean, yeah, I love Bill Apter.
Well, we've talked before, and I've talked with a lot of people that back in the day there was no internet. There was nothing like that. So Bill Apter traveled the world, following and covering guys like you and everybody else, and printing those magazines. I remember going to the corner drugstore waiting for that magazine to come out and just to see pictures of you guys, and so that's why I tell everybody Bill Apter contributed to a lot of your guys' careers, with those pictures and stories.
Definitely. I mean, that's how the wrestling fans knew about wrestling back in the day. I mean, there wasn't no Facebook. Plus, the territories didn't overlap. I mean, you had Tennessee, Florida. So the magazines is what kept everybody current. Yeah, Bill Abner, he did a hell of a job doing it too.
Oh yeah. Before I let you go on here, Tommy, I got a couple of questions. I just want to ask you, because you've been doing it a long time and you've traveled all over. Was there any one place that you really liked to go and wrestle and get in that ring?
God, just back in the day, the 80s and 90s, man, that was all good. I mean, shoot, the fans, they just, I don't know. I mean, I like Georgia because Georgia, but then I like being a bad guy and going beating up on Jerry Lawler, So I got a little taste of both sides, before and the TVs overlapped and everything. I'd go to Tennessee and be a bad guy for a little bit, and because you didn't make no money if you wasn't working against Lawler, you weren't making no money. So that was my logic: be a bad guy and do that, and then go to Georgia. Of course, I love Georgia. I mean, the folks took me in there and. Just off to the races for me. That's where I got the name Wildfire. Tony Atlas, Mr. USA, give it to me one day at TV, right there on 17. Gordon Soul and me and Tony was sitting there. And hey, Gordon Soul was another one. God bless Gordon too.
Great go, Gordon. Yes, he was. I'm telling you. Another question: how was it back then when you won that NWA title?
What did
Well,
that mean to you?
oh God, that was, that's the biggest accomplishment you get in the wrestling business. And whether I had it a year, whether I had it 5 days, I'm still in that category. And Harley Race, I wrestled him and won it from him. And to me, one of the greatest ring generals there ever was in that ring was Harley Race.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. His son is going to be joining us on May the 18th, and his widow. So I'm excited about that. And of course, Barbara Goodish is going to be there.
Yes.
Carlos Staggs, J.J. Dillon's daughter Pam Morrison is going to be with you. We call them the queen of wrestling. So I'm excited about them all going to be there with us. And it's just like you said, it's the who's who of the professional wrestling. And I am so excited that I was able to get you to come in and join us because I know you're a busy man. But for those of you fans that are watching this right now, May 17th and 18th at the Aviator Hotel in St. Louis, Missouri, the address 6921 South Lindbergh Boulevard. You can get your tickets by going to SICW.org. It's the Friday night VIP party. There's only a few tickets left for the Bill Apter show, so I suggest you get them now. And then on Saturday, 10 a.m., FanFest opens up, and all of the legends will be there signing autographs. You'll be able to get pictures with them. 5 o'clock, we'll do the St. Louis Hall of Fame. Wendy Richter will be there. She's being inducted. Judy Martin, Lalani Kai, people like that. And, of course, Bob Orton will steal the show there with his entire family being there. And then we have the close out the night with the Bruiser Brody wrestling card. The Bruiser Brody Battle Royal will take place, and somebody's going to win that big, beautiful trophy cup. Heck, I may even talk to Wildfire getting in the ring, cleaning up.
You never know. You never know.
It's wrestling. You never know. Tommy, I appreciate you taking the time to join me here this evening on the Promoters Corner on SICW. And, man, I can't wait for May 17th to get here to see you.
Hey, somebody say something about it. As Freddie Miller would say it, folks. Don't miss it. Be there.
Well, Herb, Tommy Rich sounds like he's ready to party.
Somebody said, let's get fired up. Tommy Rich is there. You heard him. He can't wait to get to St. Louis. And he, if you've never met Tommy Rich in person, you're going to on May the 18th. And he's got one of his good friends coming along with him, Doug Gilbert from the Gilbert family, and looking forward to seeing Doug back in St. Louis also. So the list just keeps growing and growing.
It does, and we're going to come back and talk about some more great legends on that list. But first, we're going to hear from a few of our sponsors that help make this Sunday night show a possibility. We'll be right back with you. Wrestling fans, you looking for the best in daily lunch specials and great menu food items? Look no further than Layla's Roadhouse, 440 Falling Springs Road in Cahokia Heights, Illinois. That's right, a family sit-down dining and always great specials. Also has the best pizza in the area.
Backed by popular demand, it's the SICW FanFest 2, May 17th and 18th in St. Louis.
Get your tickets now. Get your tickets now.
See the stars of professional wrestling from today and yesterday. Hall of Famers and the next generation of superstars. More names to be announced soon. Get your tickets now. SICW.org. That's SICW.org.
So Herb, we talk about legends are going to be there, and to me, the legends don't get any bigger than this next guy I'm going to mention, and he's making a trip in. He was here before. And he sometimes brings some friends with him, but I'm talking about none other than Jerry Briscoe.
Oh yeah, Jerry is. When you talk about St. Louis wrestling and the history of St. Louis wrestling, the Briscoes were right up there. They were one of the Sam Muchnicks. Between them and the Funks, Dory and Terry Funk, Sam Muchnick really loved all of them, all four of them guys. Of course, Jack, one of the all-time great NWA champions, and then Jerry Briscoe as a tag team, the brothers. So anytime you can get Jerry Briscoe on a card, you need to do so because he brings so much. He's got so much knowledge. The fans just love him. And when I made the arrangements to get him back here for May 18th, and he's coming in Friday, he'll probably be there at the Bill Apter's VIP party. But he said, hey, what would you think about adding somebody else? And I said, who are you talking about?
You said I already got 60 somebody else.
I said, yeah. And he said, well, how would you like to have JBL back again? And I said, can I take about 5 seconds to think about that? So JBL is going to be coming with him.
JBL and Jerry Briscoe. I mean, those two in themselves are enough to make this night a fan fest of its own. And
well, what I really like about that, JBL, when he came in last year, if you remember, I had one of the all-time greats, Black Bart, booked. And of course, it was right at that time he became ill and has been going through some major medical issues and some getting some things hopefully cleared up. And so when JBL came in, the money that he raised with his photos and his signing of different items and that money all got donated to Black Bart. And he wants to do that again this year. So hopefully that Black Bart can get back on the road to recovery and we can get him back in here sometime.
Absolutely. A great group of individuals. And last year, I was privy to it. Some of the fans might have missed out. But, when some of the wrestling action started, I got to spend some time in the lobby with JBL and Jerry Briscoe and Haku and the Barbarian. And that's the advantage you have at these fan fests. You might wind up in the middle of a conversation of hearing some of these guys talk about what it was like when they were on the road together and what they did. And, just to be able to sit there and listen was an amazing feat. And the list doesn't stop there. Another great SICW fan, Tito Santana.
Tito Santana, everybody looking to see Tito, always a fan favorite. He's going to be joining us. Really looking forward to having Tito back with us. And he's so pleasant with the fans. He takes all the time in the world, signing autographs. And again, if you have not seen Tito, you're in for a real treat. But, then you go back to somebody who hasn't been here in quite some time, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant.
Jimmy Valiant.
And what a fan favorite.
One of the best car rides I ever had was when I brought Jimmy Valiant in from the airport. Just a down-to-earth great guy.
Just a great guy. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Boogie Woogie Man. I'm sure we'll be having his music playing, and he'll be wanting to get out there and boogie woogie with some of the fans, I can tell you. And then another one I'm really looking forward to, hasn't been in St. Louis in a long time, the One Man Gang. And, for those of you who may not be familiar with him, just Google him. I mean, some of the great matches ever with the late Bruiser Brody, people like that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the One Man Gang, and he'll show you why they called him the One Man Gang, believe me. But then we have some of the people who's wrestled with SICW is coming back. Tokyo Monster Cahagas. We got to watch him. He may want to jump in the ring and get in that battle royal later on at night.
He could tell you, Herb, I'm entering. I want to be in this contest.
Oh yeah, but and then we can't forget about the Cowboy Bob Orton.
Absolutely.
I
think
we're Bruiser Brody.
We're going to talk about a lot of the Cowboy Bob Orton is in a distinct group of individuals that night, and that they're going to be inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And we're going to get to that Hall of Fame here in just a minute. But before that, we're going to take our final commercial break, fans. You've heard some of these great names. Some names we haven't even got to mention yet. We're going to have Typhoon there.
Tugboat.
Bad weather here in the Midwest lately. Tugboat, Typhoon, he's coming.
Shockmaster.
He is going to be here.
Yeah, Little Cato. For those of you who remember the Little People, used to wrestle as a karate kid. Back in the day, we had him, we had Cowboy Lang, Little Tokyo, of course, Roger Littlebrook. But Little Cato will be joining us. He doesn't do a lot of appearances. I mean, so you definitely want to take advantage of coming and meeting Little Cato. Rip Rogers is going to be here. Rick McCord, Scott Romer. The list, as Brian said, just goes on and on. And, Dennis Condrey, the lover boy, one half of the Midnight Express. I'm really looking forward to seeing Dennis back in here with us. Dan the Beast Severin. So, as Brian said, almost so many names we can't list them all.
Oh, absolutely. But one more I want to make sure is known before we head to commercial break here, because, he might be bringing a train with him. and that's a gentleman who goes by the name of the Godfather.
Oh, yeah. How can we forget the Godfather?
You did. I didn't. You did.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure.
He's also told me he's bringing the hoe train.
Oh, he's bringing. So we're going to have a night train and we're going to have a hoe train.
So, man, we're going to have a train.
It's going to be a great fan fest, too. Again, so many names, so many legends. You're looking at a great time. Let's take our last commercial break tonight. When we come back, we're going to talk about the induction to the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. We'll be right back with you. Wrestling fans, there's nothing better than barbecue and wrestling. When you're hungry, stop by Mr. Barbecue with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Waterloo, Illinois. Great barbecue, cold beverages, and SICW wrestling.
Get ready for Melee on the Midway. SICW, where wrestling at the chase meets the race. Wrestling, racing, and music. Saturday, June 1st, Worldwide Technology Raceway. For ticket information, go to SICW.org. Melee on the Midway. Featuring WWE legend Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., Attila Khan, Night Train Gary Jackson, and more. Saturday, June 1st, where wrestling, racing, and music come together. Melee on the Midway. Followed by actor-singer Ludacris in concert. Be there.
So Herb, we're back and we're just about ready to talk about the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, but there's a gentleman that helps get new wrestlers ready, helps get them to be where they've got to be, runs a great training academy, and he's going to be with us as well, right?
Oh yeah, Dr. Tom Pritchard, I'm telling you, he's helped train some of the all-time greats, and we're so fortunate to have Dr. Tom with us on May the 18th because, as you said, he runs the training school. Him and Kane is his partner, and but for all you young folks out there that think you may want to get in the business, if you're interested in doing that, you can come to the Ace Bob Orton Academy, or I'm telling you, Dr. Tom Pritchard runs one great one. You can talk to him about that, and that's what you want to do if you think you've got what it takes to be a professional wrestler. Either one of those 2 individuals, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. or Dr. Tom Pritchard, can lead you in the right direction.
Well, we're talking about the legends. So
and what about one more guy before we go? Oh yeah, how could we forget Coco Beware?
Coco, the Birdman.
The Birdman. That's what I mean. They keep coming and coming, and if you haven't got those tickets yet, where do they go to? SICW.org.
SICW.org. Get those tickets. Bill Apter show, Friday night, $25. You can get a bundle pass for Saturday. It will get you into everything. It will get you into the FanFest. It will get you into the induction ceremony for the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and it will get you into the wrestling show that will capstone with the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal with a great friend of SICW there to present the cup.
Oh, yes. Barbara Goodish is always with us. She always helps out with the annual Bruiser Brody, Larry Matisek, and Tony Costa Memorial. And this year it's not going to be any different. We've been spending a lot of time on the phone. We've been spending a lot of time doing podcasts together. She's really been helping out, making appearances and promoting SICW FanFest too, along with the annual memorial service that we started with Bruiser Brody, and then because of his friendship with Larry Matisek, and then my friendship that I had for many years with the Little Dynamite Tony Costa, we kind of added those together with the Bruiser Brody, Larry Matisek, Tony Costa Memorial, because those three names here in the St. Louis area were just right there when you talked about professional wrestling.
Absolutely. So Herb, we're talking about great professional wrestling in the St. Louis area, and one of the biggest things of the night starts right about 5 o'clock, will be the induction ceremony into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And there is a class like no other this year.
Well, the history of the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame was started back several years ago. Larry Matisek, myself, Nick Reddenauer, and Nick and I are continuing to keep it going because it is the who's who of Hall of Fames. It's a list of people from Sam Muchnick all the way through, and we named some of them earlier, the Funks, the Briscoes, the Von Erichs, the Kaniskis, the Johnny Valentines, the Luthez, all of the greats that helped make St. Louis what it was have been inducted into that St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the class of 2024 is just going to add to that, especially when we talk about the ace Cowboy Bob Orton Jr.
Cowboy Bob Orton Jr.
Has done so much in his career in the professional wrestling business, and a guy that has been in WrestleMania 1 and a couple of the other ones. But I think his father, who was on the very first show back in 1959 of Wrestling at the Chase, was inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. So I thought it was only fitting, Nick and I did, that Bob joined that class. I mean, after all, his father was with Wrestling at the Chase. His brother Barry was a great wrestler. And of course, Bob in his own right. And of course, Randy.
Yeah. And Herb, everything I keep seeing says the entire Orton family is going to be there to help induct Bob. So he's going to be surrounded by family.
Exactly, and that's been a big buzz ever since that's kind of been leaked out there. We are trying to keep it from Bob, but the entire Orton family is going to be at the Aviator Hotel, and I think Randy is going to do the induction of his father. That's the plans, but just to have his family there, his wife, his daughter, his son Nathan is coming in from New York that morning, flying in. So I think Bob will be surprised that he has the entire family there, seeing this honor be bestowed upon him as he takes his place in that class of 2024 Hall of Fame next to his father.
And Herb, we talk about families being there. There's actually a couple families coming for inductions of relatives. One gentleman coming for the induction of his grandfather, somebody that was a big part of Wrestling at the Chase.
Yes, and he probably should have been in the Hall of Fame years back. Probably should have been in the first class, but he's going in now, class of 2024. And if it wouldn't have been for him in the owning of the hotel, the Chase Park Plaza, and the KPLR TV station, there would have been no Wrestling at the Chase, because Sam Muchnick and Harold Koppler made that arrangements on an airplane ride, on a handshake back in the day, 1959. Sam had the wrestling, had the wrestlers. Mr. Koppler had the hotel, the venue, and the TV studio. He was looking for content. Sam had the content, so the marriage was made, and that's what made Wrestling at the Chase in 1959. So Mr. Koppler is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and his family is going to come in and receive those the award on behalf of Harold, and he'll take his place in the Hall of Fame.
Another gentleman that's being inducted into the Hall of Fame and family's coming, great guy George Abel.
Yeah, his son is going to be joining us, flying all the way in from California, I believe it is. George Abel was a long-time personality in the St. Louis area, but he found a home at Wrestling at the Chase as far as being an announcer. And Larry Matisek kind of patented himself after George Abel, so he's another one that deserves the rights. And if you go in and Google George Abel, you'll see all the other personalities that he played and what he contributed to the St. Louis area. So rightly so, he needs to be in that St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
And Herb, what would the Hall of Fame be this year without a few lovely ladies?
Well, the lovely ladies, back in the day, Sam Muchnick always referred to the ladies as a special attraction, and they were. When he had them, they were a special attraction. And so we've got 3 of them, the all-time greats, joining the class of 2024, starting off with Wendy Richter. Everybody remembers Wendy from back in the kind of the rock and wrestling era of professional wrestling. And so I just saw Wendy, she was doing a podcast with High Spots, our good friends there, last night, one of the virtual signings. And I joined in on that and said, yeah, she's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Wendy said, oh yeah, May 17th and 18th in St. Louis. I'm looking forward to being there with Herb. And so Wendy Richter is going to be there. And of course, another lovely lady did a lot of wrestling at the Chase area and then all over, but Leilani Kai is going to be joining us. Her and her good friend Steve Stasiak and I have been doing a lot of work together, and to be able to induct Leilani into the Hall of Fame is just real special to me. And so they will be here accepting that honor also. But then her good friend, another young lady that did a lot of work in St. Louis, Judy Martin, who is going to be making the trip in. So I'm real excited about all 3 of them getting there. And of course, I've actually reached out to a good friend of ours that's been wrestling with SICW periodically, does a great job, Malaya Hosaka. Great wrestler in her own right. In fact, if we can find her an opponent that somebody's not worried about getting in the ring with her, you'll see Malaya in action on May the 18th that night. But if not, you're going to see her in the ring anyway, because she's actually going to do the induction of the ladies into the Hall of Fame for me.
It's going to be a great night. And Herb, we could sit here and talk all night about everything coming up with FanFest 2, but unfortunately we're out of time. What the fans need to do is go to SICW.org. Get your tickets. Join us at that great event. Friday, May 17th, the Bill Apter one-man show. Saturday, May 18th, the FanFest 2, the induction to the Hall of Fame, and then SICW All-Star Wrestling with that Bruiser Brody Memorial Show.
Which ends up with a big battle royal.
Big battle royal.
And that's the trophy cup that will be awarded by Bruiser Brody's widow. And of course, what we didn't announce either is this year, I told you we always have Barbara Goodish join us this year. The sister of Bruiser Brody, Gail, will be coming along. So you'll be able to talk to Bruiser Brody's sister about what it was like growing up with Bruiser Brody, and I think you'll find some of those stories that she has very interesting. So again, just to talk with her and Barbara is worth the price of admission.
Absolutely. So fans, it's great being here each and every Sunday night talking to you. We'll be back with you next Sunday night at 8 p.m. with another episode of SICW All-Star Wrestling. Until then, make sure you visit SICW.org and get those tickets so we can see you at FanFest number 2.